Hey, what's up, dudes? Come on in, grab yourself a seat. You're about to listen to the Fresh Squeez'D Podcast, the podcast where we talk about everything and we accomplish nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
The one podcast you can come to and guarantee you're going to leave knowing absolutely nothing.
More than what you started with, pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
That's how it goes.
So, let's get into this thing. Microsoft Gamepass.
So the Gamepass, Microsoft came out and said that later this spring it's going to be released, and basically for anybody that doesn't know what it is, because I didn't really know what it was either. I've heard of it, but never really knew what it was. Basically, it's $10 a month, $9.99, and while you're subscribed to the service, you'll be able to purchase games at a 20% discount, and any DLC and consumables for 10% off. So it kind of helps, I guess, if you buy a lot of games. Yeah. And there's another thing. I mean, I'm sure when it actually becomes a mainstream thing and like it's an actual part of it, because right now it's just in the what's it called, Xbox Insider program.
Yeah,
you can get
preview program.
Yeah, you can get it in that if you're a part of that. But basically, like, you gotta hope that the game that you're wanting is part of this, because they can opt out, of course.
Right.
They don't really have to opt in. But really, the thing I see being a big deal and helping out a lot would be like I don't think you've ever played like a lot of sport games online, but like FIFA, you can buy FIFA points to buy packs for Ultimate Team.
Right.
So you'd get all those packs 10% off if they were part of the Xbox Pass program.
Okay.
Game Pass program. So really, that's the only time I really see it being, anything worth anything, unless you're just got a lot of money anyway and you're buying game after game that comes out.
Well, check this out, okay? And this isn't for every game, mind you. So if they implement some games that have been out for a while, maybe that would maybe it would sweeten the pot. But why would I go with this Game Pass over Amazon Prime, like we were talking about in the other podcast? Because with Amazon Prime, new games you get 20% off.
Yeah, well, see, I think it's just Xbox trying to keep up with it or have something to rival it.
Well, what sucks, what would keep me on that? I mean, if you bought add-ons, yeah, that'd be a thing. Because I'm pretty sure Amazon doesn't offer anything like that. But just for the games themselves, and plus with Amazon Prime, you get free shipping, free 2-day shipping, plus you get a video service. If Microsoft added some kind of on-demand video service, maybe they could maybe they can make it into something. But I don't know at the price point if it's going to be worth it, because the common guy probably buys one new game a month, maybe
if that.
One game every couple months. So the only thing I could think that this would be, marketed towards is either somebody that's a compulsive buyer that buys games just because they're new and they want to be able to play every new game that comes out, or like you said, they're a sports game player or a player, something like crates, like Call of Duty, maybe.
Yeah, or like GTA with the credit cards, free money.
Yeah, so something like that. But other than that, I don't know why you would go for this program. There's nothing really to keep people there long term.
Well, and really, unless you're buying a lot of that add-on stuff, I mean, at $10 a month, you're really probably not. Say you buy one of those a month. I mean, that's $10 right there. The 10% off the price isn't going to make up for that $10. You know what I mean?
Right.
So really, I don't know. I think before they release it, and actually, if they want to catch on, they're probably going to have to drop it, like the monthly thing, down a lot. I mean, I don't know. I just don't see a lot of people going for it. But I mean, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, it's going to catch on initially, anyways. There's going to be that surge of people that really don't know the ins and outs of it, and I don't know much about it myself, but from what you're saying, it sounds like a kind of more dumbed down version of Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
to me,
I think that they've seen the trend of people doing that, so they're trying to get something, like Microsoft's trying to get something to rival it, which I really don't think it's going to work, but we'll see how it goes. Of course, like anything at the beginning, they're testing it out, right? So it's probably going to change some. So it's just we'll see when it actually comes out to the public what it's actually like.
Yeah, because like for now, I would say just go with Amazon Prime.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they actually, I mean, if Microsoft came out with some kind of Xbox video streaming service, that could be something that people would be into, because they would at this point, if a new streaming service came out, it would have to focus on the things that Netflix and Hulu are doing wrong, basically. So. The way that I see it is, they need to pick up shows that Netflix is getting rid of. They need to pick up shows that Hulu is kicking off, because I know with a lot of series, Like I'll take Bob's Burgers for example. On Hulu, they only have the newest season, season 7.
Mm-hmm.
And seasons 1 through 6 were on Netflix.
Now they're not.
Okay, and now only season 2 is on Netflix until the 4th of May.
Yeah.
So at this point, after the 4th of May, the only season of Bob's Burgers that's on demand for streaming is season 7 on Hulu until they come out with the next, come out with season 8 and they kick season 7 off. So like that would be a perfect opportunity for someone like Microsoft, and that might, or is there anybody that starts a new streaming service? That's where they could really shine, is picking up the shows that's kicked off of both of the big guys.
You got to think too, as big as Microsoft is, and there's got to be somebody that's brought this up, that's like pitched this idea. So I don't know why they haven't yet. Really, I don't know why gaming systems haven't tried anything like this yet. Because I think the amount of people that use, maybe just because there's so many people already using Netflix and Hulu on their machines anyway, that they just would rather keep the apps installed.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, like you said, there is a place to where they could probably make it work and get people in there if there's like shows like I know for a while, like Netflix back in the day used to have all the South Parks.
Right.
And then they had they couldn't come to an agreement to keep it on there, so it went to Hulu, and Hulu's got all of them, luckily.
Yeah.
But if they're because I love watching old South Park episodes, I've seen them all multiple times. But if it wasn't for Hulu having them, then there'd be no place for it. And I'm sure there's lots of shows like that, like you mentioned, Bob's Burgers. I'm sure there's lots of shows like that. And there's definitely a place that like a streaming service could take that and be like, okay, we're going to make sure we're going to catch all the fuck ups from the other two, and make sure we have them.
And maybe they're not thinking. Maybe Netflix is thinking, why should we pay to have the contract to keep Bob's Burgers on when it's probably on Fox Now or whatever it's called, that the Fox's streaming service. But there's no guarantee that you have all the seasons on there.
So, real quick, I was going to ask you. So this Game Pass thing, right? Right now, it's just like of course the Game Pass right now is just a discount on new games.
Yeah.
But how far away do you think we are from something like Apple Music is, to where for games you pay a base fee a month, and then you can download games and play them?
I mean, PlayStation has something like that with their I think it's called PlayStation Now. It's a streaming service. You pay. Back when they first announced it, it was $20 a month, and you got access to like 1,000 games that you could just go and download from the cloud, put them on your system. As long as you had that streaming service going, you could play them, uninstall them at any time, install the next game. So PlayStation has something like that. NVIDIA also made something for their NVIDIA Shield TV called NVIDIA. I don't remember what it's called now. It's called NVIDIA Games something, but it's the same thing. You can get games from the cloud, download them on. As long as you're paying that subscription fee, you can play the games as much as you want. Microsoft hasn't done something like that yet, which is kind of a misstep.
Yeah, I think eventually they'll get there, because this is kind of going in that direction, but it's just you're paying for a discount. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's kind of going in that direction. We'll see how long it takes.
Yeah.
How much would you? What do you think the reasonable price a month would be for something like that?
I mean,
if it's going to include big games,
like new games.
Yeah. If like we get way in the future, okay.
Dude, I'm saying if you're getting like, if you're getting Call of Duty, I don't know, let's say we're going back to 2016. If I'm getting Call of Duty Infinite Warfare in December when it released in November, if I'm getting that on this streaming service, you probably can't expect to pay less than $50 a month. Something like that, $50, $60 a month.
And honestly, I think that might be reasonable for the amount of games you can play.
Yeah, if you got the new games on there, that'd be 100% worth it. If you're doing stuff that might be a year old, 6 months old, whatever, $20-$25 is kind of where I would land myself comfortable to pay for something like that. Like if I'm getting, I don't know, let's look at something here. Like, so next year about this time, if Wildlands is on there, I'll pay $25. But if I got Wildlands like last month when it first came out, I'll pay $60 nonstop.
Yeah. So I mean, I think really they could be, and maybe they could I think like the way Apple Music does it with their music stuff is, instead of the people like making a commission off their music when they sell it on iTunes, now it's like the amount of playtime that they get a percentage of money from it.
Yeah.
So maybe like they could kind of come up with something like that for like the game developers and publishers and stuff,
Right.
to where like however much time like overall everybody's been playing their game from this service,
Yeah.
they can get a cut of money from Microsoft. I think that's the future, to be honest. I mean, I know like digital downloads the future, but think about that, a cloud service to where you can download it. You just got to pay a fee a month, because I would do it. I would do it definitely. Like you said, $60. If I'm getting brand new games, $60 a month is perfectly fucking fine with me.
Yeah. I think I don't know how the PlayStation Now service is doing. I know when it first came out, it wasn't. There was getting kind of lackluster reviews because the amount of, or not the amount of games, but the quality of the games. Like, it was a bunch of stuff that no one really cared about when it came out in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But I know they've revamped it, and they're starting to put new stuff out there, like different games and stuff. So it could be doing well. I know that NVIDIA's Shield's system, I think it's GeForce Experience, maybe something like that. It's doing really well, and I mean, it's like $10 a month, but you get games like Tomb Raider Definitive Edition and stuff like that. Games that have been out for a couple of years, but it's only $10 a month, so you can't really complain. But I think definitely we're going to see a shift in the market in the next 5-10 years, probably, to not an all. Well, we will never see. I don't think we'll ever see an all digital future for games, but I think these dominant cloud streaming services and digital downloads are going to take a seat in the marketplace. And I think what's going to start that process, and I think what would really seal it in, is if as a digital game you offered it at a discounted price.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense to me why I go to GameStop and I buy a brand new game $60 off the shelf. Okay. Or I could go home, buy it on my Xbox for $60. Why are you charging me the price of a disc and a case and artwork for the game?
Because they know just because they know they can.
Yeah, just because they know they can, and that it's it should be, I don't know, $50 or 50, even $55. Because a disc and artwork in a case is probably a couple pennies.
Yeah.
I guarantee it's not more than, they're not paying more than $2 a case and a disc for that game to be printed and sealed and put in that case and shipped to GameStop. So if they offered it at a couple dollars less, that would be what would start moving people towards digital games. And that would be, at that point, that's when, you see GameStop fading away and stuff like that. And I think that maybe that's why they don't. Maybe there's a push and a pull, from retailers and from developers. I don't know. I really don't know. Or from publishers, rather. I don't really know. But I think if they wanted digital sales to be the future, that they'd have to start dropping the price on the digital games to make up that little bit of because it's gonna, like someone like me, I want a digital copy. Like I don't want a digital copy. I want a physical game in my hand.
Yeah.
And that's how I've always been. And unless it's a killer deal, like I got Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2 last month for $10 for the deluxe edition, which is still a $40 game in GameStop. And I got it for $10, and I was like, okay, that's a big enough price difference where I can justify buying it digitally versus, if I go and buy 7 days on digital on the Xbox, it's $30. If I buy it at GameStop, it's $24.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go or not the other way around. So it's $30 at GameStop, $24 digitally. I'm gonna go buy physical, because I like having the media. I like having the physical media.
I think that's the collector in you, because like that's the one reason why, and a lot of gamers are collectors of games, right? Or they at least want to have it there.
Yeah, you want something to show off.
So really, I think that the physical copy stuff will never die down, or it won't ever go away completely. There might be a point to where digital copies are reigning supreme over them, but there'll definitely always be physical copies.
There's always going to be somebody that wants that special edition.
But what sucks is some like smaller games, they don't think it's going to be they're not going to sell enough to where they don't make a physical copy, and that kind of sucks sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, look at Rocket League. It didn't get a physical release for like 2 years.
Yeah,
until after its release, it didn't get a physical.
Yeah, there's been a lot of games like that. That's why we were in GameStop looking around the other day, and it surprised me that This Is the Police game had a physical copy.
Yeah.
I had no idea that had a physical copy, because that seems like an indie type game that they'd be afraid to make physical copy because they're afraid it wouldn't sell.
Right, and I don't know if that's the same thing. I don't know if Stardew Valley's been out on the console or not, but it's getting a physical release.
Yeah, it has. I'm not sure. I think they're releasing the physical release for that at the same time they're doing the digital. I believe so.
Okay.
But
Has it been in game preview?
I don't think so. No,
Okay.
no, because it was because it's been on the computer, and then he's decided like it's been a big enough success to where the Concerned Ape and the publisher decided that they can put it on a console, which is fucking awesome. By the way, I love you wouldn't believe it, but I love that game. I bought it. I started watching somebody play it on stream one time, and then I went and bought it instantly, and I played the shit out of it.
Was it Cinnamon Toast Ken?
No, I did watch him play it once, and he kicked me out. He kicked me out of a stream because like when you're ranching in that game, you can go milk the cows, And he was trying to milk a cow, and it was too young, and it was like giving him his air thing. And I was like, "Oh, touching underage male or cow titties."
That's weird.
And he fucking banned me from the stream. But anyway, yeah. So it sucks that like smaller games like that until they figure out that they're going to be successful, don't actually do physical copy, which kind of blows. But
yeah, it never used to be that way. That used to be the only option.
Yeah,
a physical game was the only way to get it.
Which I guess I kind of see it as if like if you don't have a big publisher behind you and you're kind of doing most of the work yourself and stuff, you know what I mean? And you're on a budget. I can see that being like, oh, we should release it digitally first to see how it does.
Yeah, that's why Steam is a godsend.
Yeah. So I can see why people do it, but having physical copies, it's definitely better. But you probably get a lot better deals. You can get a lot better deals digitally for sure.
Oh yeah.
But actually, coming to the Xbox soon, we have some more backwards compatibility stuff to talk about.
Hell yeah.
Some like arcade classic games. We got Contra, which is pretty awesome. I've actually never played Contra a lot. I've played it some and got pissed off and quit playing it. But I've always wanted to play that game. So maybe we could play that once it comes on Xbox One.
Yeah, it's a tough game. Contra is a tough game series, but it's really good and it's really fluid. So it's like, and I mean, we're talking about a game came out on the NES. In '86. Probably 86. I want to say 86, 87 it came out.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a game that like is so fluid in its movements. Like it's so quick. And it's one of those things like you're playing it and from the surface, it doesn't look like it's anything to shake a stick at, but you get into the gameplay and it's the difficulty is what drives people to play that game more than anything, I think.
Yeah.
And the bullet hell that's going on, like you got people shooting at you nonstop and it's really difficult, but it's the difficulty that keeps people engaged in that game. And I know we haven't gotten a Contra game in a while. I think we got a Contra game on, when was the last one? Probably Nintendo DS. We got Contra, I want to say Contra 3 on the DS, and that's the last one we got. But if we're getting, I don't know if it's the original or not.
Yeah, it is.
It's the original. Okay, so yeah, the original Contra was freaking awesome, and it's not a game I've ever beaten. So that would be cool to check out. Do they have a price release? Do you know?
No, they don't have a price release yet for it.
It'd probably be $5.
It's going to usually when they bring the arcade classical games, they usually charge them $5.
And I would say that's probably on the Wii U too.
Probably
on the eShop. I would say it's probably a big thing, and I think that's probably why it's a bigger thing is because it's a Nintendo title.
Yeah,
we're getting Nintendo games on the Xbox.
Yeah, so we'll go over some more here. There's let's see, 1, 2, 3. There's 3 more that are being they announced. Robo Blitz, which I guess in 2006 was an Xbox Live Arcade game, and it really caught on. I've never heard. Have you ever heard of this game?
No.
I've never heard of this game either, but it says it's got lots of awards, so maybe we'll check it out.
Yeah.
And see, I don't know if it's Gin Rummy or Gin Rummy.
It's Gin Rummy.
Gin Rummy. Have you ever heard of that?
I've not heard of the game. I mean, I know the card game.
So is it? You think it's just a?
Yeah, it's just a card game.
So that's coming. But then the other one that really caught our eye is Golf Tee It Up, and I'll let Cody talk to you about that game.
That honestly, here's the thing. Came out in 2008 as an arcade title only. It's kind of set in the style of like Outlaw Golf. If you ever played Outlaw Golf or what's that other one? Hot Shots.
Yeah,
Golf.
Hot Shots.
So it's kind of anime style, kind of like an arcade golf game. So you don't have the wheel, like in the bigger games, like in Tiger Woods. If you play it, you get the wheel, where you have to get this just shot just right. It's just basically a bar at the bottom. It's a 3-click system. You click once to start the thing going side to side. You stop it for your power, and then he comes back and you stop it for the accuracy of your shot. So it's not something that's super in depth, but I don't know. It was something for me that caught on so much, and it was like a $10 title. So I bought it like the day it came out because I had a bunch of Microsoft points at the time, and I bought it the day it came out, and I played that game so much. I am actually ranked like number 6 in the world in that game out of like, it's a few 100,000 people, but it's cool to even go back on the 360. And now I'm gonna download it on my Xbox One.
Get sucked back
Does
in.
it say when it comes out?
I don't think they've been announced yet. Let me make
Okay.
sure. No, they haven't. It hasn't been fully announced. Like what
Okay,
date?
so when it comes out, I will definitely download it on my Xbox One. And I'm going to play the crap out of it because I had so much fun with that game. And the cool thing about it is it's going to show up in everybody who's downloaded it on the 360 on their Xbox One. It's going to show up in their recently installed, or then they're ready to be installed rather.
That's cool.
And they're going to be able to see it, and they'll be like, "Oh man, I remember that game. Let me install and see who's playing." So it's going to bring life back to that game. And I think that's one thing that this backwards compatibility thing with the arcade games, especially, is doing so awesome. Because it's bringing life back into games. And I've always harped on my Sonic Lopsided channel, that my personal YouTube channel that I've ran for a few years now. I've always harped that I hate seeing game communities die. It's the worst thing to me. Like, I hate it so much because especially if you've played the game yourself and you have those experiences on there, and then you go onto it and it's completely dead.
Yeah.
Like if you go onto like Uno on the 360 right now, I guarantee you won't find a single person playing. But back 4 or 5 years ago, it was booming, hundreds of people playing. And I remember that. And the same thing with Halo 3. And if you go back, I don't know, to Halo Reach, there's only a couple thousand people playing.
Yeah.
And in a few years that game's going to be dead. And it sucks. It sucks that's a thing. But I mean, it's inevitable. People are going to move on. But I'm a guy that, like, if there's a small community, I'm going to keep playing it. So I go on War to War to play, and it might be hacked to death, but I still enjoy the game.
Yeah.
There might only be 150 people playing at one time, but at least there's 150 people playing.
Right.
So this backwards compatibility thing that they're doing is really awesome. And it's also cool that whenever they release 360 games with gold, whether it be an arcade game or an actual AAA release or whatever, they're all they've guaranteed them all to be backwards compatible with the Xbox One.
That's
which
cool.
is awesome. So the games that you see that are coming free with gold from the 360, you're getting them they're able to be played on the Xbox One. Now, given you have to download them on the 360 first, or I think you can do it on the Xbox website too.
Yeah. You can.
But yeah, that's the only way you can download them. But then you can install them on your Xbox One, which is awesome. So backwards compatibility gets a thumbs up from me. It's something that PlayStation's not doing yet, and I think it's something if PlayStation did it, they'd be filling a gap.
It's something that they promised too, wasn't it?
Yeah, both Xbox and
But I remember PS4. That was one of the big reasons why I wanted to get a PS4 over an Xbox, and then of course I switched back to Xbox. But is because they kept saying they're going to have this giant library of old games that you can download and play and stuff.
Yeah.
And I know they have some, but nothing like they promised.
right.
You know what I mean? They said they're pretty much going to have 80% of the library.
I just don't get why it's not 100% backwards compatible right out of the box. Like, how much more would it have cost them to put a laser in the Xbox One or the PS4 to read the past gen? Like, yeah, back whenever you're talking like the PS3, they did it where it was backwards compatible with PS1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
It was expensive, a little bit more, but not much more. And we're talking 2006. We're in 2017. When did the Xbox One and PS4 release? 2014,
Yeah.
2015,
I think it was 2014.
2014. So we're talking, 7 years later. You can't tell me that, or 8 years later rather. You can't tell me that. Like, it probably wouldn't be another, $30 or $40, but then I can stick a 360 game in my Xbox One and install it right, boom, because it has the laser already in there to read the game. But instead, they're having to, program it to where you put the disc in and it triggers the Xbox Arcade. Like, okay, let's go download a copy of that digitally. Why didn't they just, if they can do that with the laser that's in the Xbox One, why didn't they just make it 100% backwards compatible? And I know why it is. It's the fact that they wanted to, they kind of want to scoot people into the next generation.
Yeah, they're trying to control which games you can have.
Yeah, they don't want you to have 100% backwards compatibility, because then why the heck would you need to move on to their next big AAA games, because you're enjoying the games that you've played for 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've always praised Nintendo for, is because with the Wii, it was 100% backwards compatible in its first revisions with the GameCube. You could play any GameCube game, pop it in, and it reads it automatically. With the Wii U, it was 100% backwards compatible with the Wii. It played every single Wii game that you'd want. Now with the Switch, it's a little bit different because it doesn't take discs. But they've also promised 100% of the library on the eShop.
Yeah, and well, I mean, even look at the DS. The DS could play GBA games.
Yeah, so it's I mean, Nintendo's good for their loving their previous generation. They don't. I mean, they drop support like it was nothing. Like when the Wii came out, GameCube was like, they were like, what's the heck's a GameCube? And the same thing with the with the Switch. Like they've already dropped support for the Wii U. Like you're not going to see any more software updates, I bet. But at least they tend to the audience that loved the past generation, and that's something that I think that Xbox or Microsoft and Sony don't really do. So we're talking like on the 360, you had select games that were backwards compatible from the Xbox, the original Xbox. With the PS3. An interesting fact, if you guys don't know this, I wanted to get that out there. So the first model PS3 was backwards compatible with PlayStation 1 and 2 games.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was a $600 console or something like that. Some crazy number.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And they were really faulty. So they always got the yellow or the orange light of death or whatever they called it. So they were faulty as crap, and they had small hard drives. So then they revised it and brought up the PlayStation 3 Slim, which is the model that I have. And they took the backwards compatibility with PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 away, or so they thought.
But you can still play.
You can still play PlayStation 1 games backwards compatible, because something about the PS3 laser by default reads the PlayStation 1 discs. So they inadvertently made backwards compatibility still a thing, but they had probably all intentions of taking it completely away.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know why, if I was a developer like that, if I was a hardware developer, I would want, people to enjoy the product no matter what it is, have fun. I understand you have to make money, and there's always going to be enough people there to purchase, the new games or whatever to make that money. But if I like a game that's been out for 5 years and I play it nonstop, shouldn't that be enough?
Yeah.
You would think. So I don't know. I don't really know.
But next, let's see, GTA. I'm not sure if they have already released it, or if if they haven't released it yet, it's coming soon. It's all over the news site, gaming news sites. They're adding a new race mode to where it is. They call it a tiny car race, and basically it's looking down, and it's like you look like you're a Hot Wheel car, just like. But basically it's a pretty much a callback to the old GTA games,
right?
From where it's top down.
GTA 1, 2, and London.
Yeah. So if you guys never played really the older GTA games, it used to be you're top down, you could see your guy's head and arms moving around when you're walking.
It looked like a Geodude walking around.
And it's like so, and like the buildings were real small and the cars were real small, of course, and you could see like the map where you're going. And but basically they're making a callback to that in this new race mode, so you can race like that in cars.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. They're they're acknowledging where they came from, basically.
Yeah, and it's cool because they're GTA in general. Okay, GTA 5. Did you think it was going to be this big of a success?
I mean, whenever I got my hands on it and started playing online, I knew it was going to be something that wasn't going away. But I didn't think that it was going to be as popular. It's the most popular, still to this day, the most popular Xbox One and PlayStation 4 online game.
I mean, okay, even when it first came out, and I was really worried about people not playing it because remember, okay, do you remember the load times?
Yeah, they were horrible.
Yeah, they were horrible.
Awful.
You'd be in that loading screen of the sky in the
Yeah.
world trying to load in.
But that was a lot of server problems.
Yeah, but so I was scared it was going to scare people away, but there's still so many people playing that.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about thousands of people, probably 100,000 plus people every single day playing that game.
Yeah, and they're still supporting it too. That's the awesome thing is like, they're still making new DLC for it and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
now GTA is a game that comes out once a console generation,
yeah,
and they expand on it. They make expansion packs like GTA 4 had, like 3 or 4 or whatever. But GTA 5, it's like when I play that game, I'm like, okay, this is awesome. How could they ever make this better? I don't see a GTA 6. Basically, is how I'm seeing this.
they'll have a hard time unless they're just going to basically do the same thing with little improvements, like put on a different setting or something, different city.
Yeah,
Because I mean, honestly, it feels like the pinnacle now. But of course, I'm sure they'll find a way to make it better because they always have been able to make it better. But I mean, GTA 5 is just it's something you've like in your head. You're always like, man, it'd be cool if they had a game like that, and they finally found a way to do it.
yeah. I mean, it's completely open world. You can basically do whatever you want. And it's there's the griefers online and stuff like that that's just around to troll you, but you don't find it that much, which is awesome. So you always have a good experience online, and that's the meat of it. I mean, they have the single player story mode, but who gives a crap about that? Like a lot of people are into it for the story mode and all that stuff, but I don't fault you for that. But the online portion is the meat of the game, and that's where people spend 99.9% of their time.
Well, I mean, it's really cool too, is because they did a good job with both parts of it.
Yeah,
They did a really good job with the story, and it's a crazy complex story where you're going between 3 different people,
right.
and they managed to pull it off and made it made it awesome. And then they pulled off a great multiplayer also along with that, which is crazy. Like usually games, do well in one section and not the other, but they pulled it off for sure.
Yeah. And what's cool about it too is on the online portion, there's the online's cool, but it's not just online. There's a lot of incentives to actually play online and do well online, complete missions together, races and stuff.
Heists.
Because you're wanting to get money and stuff and level up your character so that you can buy these awesome new cars and stuff. Because there's stuff online that you want to unlock that actually make the game better and make it more fun, and it keeps going. Like it's not a game that I don't think it's a game that I could ever get tired of playing.
Yeah. Me too. I mean, always, even when you get sick of doing like the missions and the heists and stuff, like what we always do, we always like found something to do. We always ended up playing races at the end.
Yeah,
and we did that until we were like, all right, well, that's enough gaming at all. But you don't ever really get tired of it because there's so much to do in it. And you can, and if you get tired of doing the stuff you're supposed to, the game tells you to do, you can just go do what the hell you want.
right. And that's cool. That's really cool. Because there's always something to do. It's the best time waster game I've ever played.
Yeah,
Hands
for
down.
sure.
If you have 30 minutes, you have entertainment for 30 minutes. And it's not something that like is good. You don't have to find a save point, basically to stop playing the game. If you're done, just turn it off. And you'll start back right where you were.
Yeah,
Exactly where you were.
it's really good, man. They did a really good job. Of course, I've always loved the GTA franchise, but they definitely pulled this one off. I remember when it came out, it was such a fucking big deal.
Yeah.
And to see him still putting things in it to make it even like still in the news, like they're doing a good job with that. You know what I mean?
It broke records when it came out. Big records, like huge. It broke a lot of sales records when it came out. Now, given that the servers were garbage when it came out, I think they underestimated the popularity of the game. I think they knew it was going to be big, but I don't think they knew it was going to be this big.
Yeah, I think it always that always happens though, because you'd rather be like, because you never know how popular it's going to be, right? So like they knew it was going to be fucking, they knew it was pretty much going to be a huge success. A lot of people at least going to be trying it out.
Yeah.
When it first came out, right? But I think they definitely like, you're never ready for something like that. You're never ready for like everybody that even, almost everybody that owns a freaking Xbox One or PS4 to be like, yeah, I'm definitely getting that.
Yeah, and it's one of those games that GTA 5 is one of those games where, I'll never stop playing it, and I go through periods where I'll buy it and then I'll trade it in because I'm kind of done with it. But then I always end up buying it again.
Yeah, because
Like I always get another copy.
like right now I don't have a copy of it, but it's because I wanted to. I think I traded in towards the FIFA 17, but I mean that was just because I wasn't playing it that much. You know, it's really fun when you play online with buddies and stuff.
Yeah.
After you finish the storylines segment, the online part is really where you spend most of your time. And you know if your buddies are busy or if they're playing other games, then really that's how it gets out away from you. But I always feel like playing it. Like I wish I had it right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's great. They did a really good job. They always do a good job. Though it seems like there's not many GTA's that are frowned upon.
Right. So while we're on the topic of GTA, let's go back and talk about Grand Theft Auto as a whole. Because I started playing. The first time I remember playing GTA was probably 2001. I want to say, because at the time. We didn't have it was between it had been before it was before I got my Xbox. I know that. So it must have been right before the Christmas of the Xbox. The game systems that we had at the time were the PlayStation 1 and the Dreamcast. And we only had like 2 games for the Dreamcast, and they were basically games that were like way out of my league, like The Ring, which was a scary game, and I wasn't into that kind of thing. Then we had a demo disc that had Tony Hawk on it and stuff like that. So I played the demo disc more than anything. But we had the PlayStation 1, and we had GTA 2 on the PlayStation 1. And I played GTA 2, and I didn't really understand what I was doing. You know, basically, I took a car, and I went towards the yellow arrow. The yellow arrow pointed you to the phone booth. You got the mission. You went to the mission. You go back to the phone booth. But then over time, I kind of realized I was like, okay, like I get this car, and then like I can go wherever I want. The cops chase me, okay, but if I run over this crate with my car, I can get a freaking machine gun.
Yeah.
And then I can do whatever I want. And it took me a long time to realize kind of what the game actually was. But I played it, and I sat there and I played it, and I played it, and I played it, and I loved it. I absolutely freaking loved it. My dad went and bought number 1. I played number 1 more than I played number 2. And then I found out about the London expansion pack. And the cool thing is that all three of the first games, because a lot of people, I don't know, I guess they don't count London as the third game. It's the expansion of number 2, because you have to have GTA 2 in order to play GTA London. But like I don't know, I was like so engulfed in it. Like it was such a I don't know. I didn't play much other than it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, back then it was something completely different.
Yeah, there was so much to do.
Yeah. So of course, so it hooked a lot of people in because it was something that nobody had done before, and nobody had really seen. But I'd say I played those Grand Theft Autos, the old ones like that, where you're looking down, and I had a lot of fun as a child. But I don't really remember a whole lot of it. But I know I played it.
Yeah.
But where I spent most of my time was GTA 3, which I mean that GTA 3 changed the game completely again. You know, it's something nobody's seen before. 3D but with a Grand Theft Auto type of game. It was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got it without my mother understanding what it was, but I had it and played the shit out of it. Me and my brother played the shit out of that game. I mean, there was even like back then we really didn't care about the storyline, you know, because we didn't know we were young and who gives a shit. But I think that's why another reason why young kids like it so much is because they don't have to do the storyline; they can go do what the hell they want.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of appealing to young kids like that. For that reason, I think that was a big part of it for me and my brother, is we would just take turns seeing how long, passing controllers, seeing how long we could live through with the cheat codes and shit like that on it. Go get the Banshee. Remember in the car lot? You go take the Banshee.
Bust the car lot windows out to get the Banshee.
Yeah, and we never progressed the storyline far enough to get into the extra city, like the city when the bridge gets fixed.
Yeah.
So we always used to fucking ramp our way over there because you used to be able to ramp it with that fucking Banshee. It was the only one that could do it.
Yeah.
But there's so many good memories from GTA, and then of course I played every one since. I mean, so many good memories, and I'm glad to see they're still doing so well with GTA 5.
Between the first 2 games, I think I probably spent. It's either on GTA 1 I spent the most time, or probably Vice City. I loved Vice City just because the vibe was that 80s vibe with all the Michael Jackson on the radio and stuff. It was awesome.
And the colors they used.
Yeah, it was so great, that game. And it was more cartoony than Blood and Guts. But I remember GTA 3, looking back on it now too, you look at all of it was such a huge thing in the media because nothing like that had ever been made before on that level. So everybody was like, "Oh, GTA makes everybody want to kill people like in real life and all this garbage."
Yeah.
And like there was like a mothers against something GTA blah blah blah, but like it was crazy. It was a phenomenon, and I remember I never had it myself for a while, anyways, because I was always coming over to your guys' house, and I would watch you guys play GTA 3, and I tried it out myself. But at that time, I was engulfed in Halo 2. That was before you got into Halo 2, because I was into Halo 2 a couple months before Parker actually got a hold of it. Because I remember you had to go to Movie Gallery and rent it
Yeah.
to be able to play it. But yeah, I'd go over to their house and I'd watch them play it, and it was awesome, and I had a lot of fun with it. Enough to go out and get the pack that came with. It was a 3-pack. It came with GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas in the same package on the Xbox, and I played a crap out of it. But I spent so much time in Vice City. But do you think that Rockstar is looking back on it now? Do you think that from coming from number 1 to number 5, do you think that they knew that this success was going to happen? Do they think it was going to be this big of a deal?
I think after number 3, and they saw how the response was, I think they probably knew. I think they probably knew that they could continue it and make it better.
Yeah.
And I mean, you see that pretty much through every one. They got better with certain things. But I think they probably knew at that point, to where they were like, whoever had the idea was like, listen, we could make it 3D.
Yeah.
Instead of being looked down.
It's like bros.
Whoever came,
Bros. So here's it's like
it came to me in a dream.
I was thinking about it last night. What if we made it 3D? And the guy's like, the CEO of Rockstar was like, you know what, motherfucker, that's a good idea.
But I mean, whoever had that idea, you're fucking genius.
Yeah.
But
freaking God,
But
man.
I think they probably knew that it was going to be good because I mean, and they've done such a good job with it. Rockstar in general makes great games.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
You're talking Red Dead Redemption. Another one.
Red Dead Redemption is so fucking good.
They got the new one coming out pretty soon.
Yeah,
too.
I cannot fucking wait for that.
Yeah.
But Rockstar does a good job making games that are kind of unique to its own. You know, like GTA. Yeah, there's other games like GTA, but nobody's ever done it on the GTA level.
Right.
Saints Row came close a couple times, but not really.
L.A. Noire.
LA
Check me
Noire.
out, dudes.
Yeah,
Check me out, dudes.
I love LA Noire.
Shout out to Evan. Check me out, dudes. Look what I could do.
Yeah.
Do that.
But I mean, they make such good games. They like kind of engulf you. I think that's what they try to do.
They take
with
a
their
long
games.
time to make their games too, so they don't shoot them out every year. They work on games for years to get them, up to the level, that of expectation that they've kind of built for themselves. If a Rockstar game came out and it wasn't good, people would be like, "What the hell?" Like,
Yeah.
it'd be unheard of, basically. So I want to talk a little bit about Ghost Recon Wildlands because I got it. This has almost been a week that I've had it. Actually, it has been a week that I had it today. It's been 7 days. I got it last Friday. I wanted to talk about this game for a second because it's a game that I knew going in was going to be good because it has a perfect setup. It's a third-person open world adventure game. But the gunfighting is selectively first person or selectively third person, depending on how you want to play. I keep it in first person because it shoots it kind of more like a Call of Duty style aiming. So it's easier to kill things in first person to me. But the fact that it's open world, there's like 100 missions to do. And it's drop in, drop out multiplayer. You can play it solo, you can play it co-op, local co-op, or you can play it online co-op with randoms that drop in, or your friends if you want to invite them. But it's drop in and drop out, which means you don't start a mission, and if somebody leaves, that's it. If somebody leaves your mission, another person could fill in that space right after him out of matchmaking, and you're right on back with the mission. And it's so well made. I never thought in 100 years that they would make a game that's like, it's like Ghost Recon. It's like they took GTA, like the core aspects of GTA, and then Just Cause 3, and they mashed them together with Ghost Recon and made this freaking phenomenal game. Like, it's so good. And a lot of people were worried that grinding would be a big deal, and it's really not. Like, it's not. Like, a lot of the weapons are unlocked just by stepping foot into a territory. So, like, you get the first sniper by going into the Ithaca, I think it's pronounced Ithaca territory. You just got to go walk into it, and you get a sniper rifle unlocked.
Nice.
You know, it's not like, okay, get level 15 to get this sniper rifle. You know, get level 50 to unlock this machine gun. You know, it's not like that. So it's cool, man. It's you get weapon caches throughout the game, so you never have to worry about running out of ammo. There's a lot of stealth involved in it, which is something that I was really excited about. Stealth games are good if they do them right.
Yeah.
You can really screw a stealth aspect up in a game, and Wildlands did it right. They got it perfect, in my opinion, because it's a lot of, take these guys out without being noticed, not creep around. It's like get up on top of this mountain with your sniper rifle with a silencer on it, take guys out, before you get into it, because eventually you're going to have to go into that stronghold that you're sniping people from, but you can clear out most of them with a sniper before you get there, so it makes the load on you a little bit easier. I'm talking like biplanes, airplanes, helicopters. You get a drone by default, parachuting. Like, you can do anything. You can do anything you want. The only thing it's missing is a grapple hook from Just Cause 3. If they had the grappling hook from Just Cause 3, it'd be the perfect game. Like, there'd be no flaws with it at all. I'm just kidding, but yeah, it's so good. It's way better than I thought it ever could be. I knew it was going to be phenomenal when it came out, but I never thought in 100 years it'd be as good as it is. But it's just one that you need to buy.
Yeah, I'm thinking about. I haven't got it yet. I'm thinking about getting it when I get some extra money. So, because I've watched you play it a little bit, and I've watched other people play it, and other people are saying it's good. So, I'm down to give it a try for sure.
I mean, it's 100% worth it, man. Like, it's a phenomenal game. But on the topic of games, since we're a gaming podcast, I would say,
For the most part.
let's talk about some games that we haven't seen remasters of, that we've been wanting to see. Actually, let's talk about one that did get a remaster. That I don't know if a lot of people have been wanting to see it happen,
But a lot of people are happy about it.
but a lot of people seem to be happy about it. Voodoo Vince was a platformer, a late release platformer on the Xbox, and I had it on the original Xbox. I don't know. Camera angles were really weird on that game. They were, as it is on PS2 games and PS1 games and Xbox games, GameCube and stuff like that. The camera angles fight with you a lot in those games because they didn't kind of figure out how to have a free roaming camera like you control it yourself. So they fight with you a lot. And that was one thing that always irked me about that game, is that, there's a lot of platforming because it's mainly a platforming game.
Yeah.
And the camera would fight with you tooth and nail the whole way. And I hope that they fixed it in this remaster.
Yeah, I think they probably did. At least I hope so. Because if they're going back and remastering things, why not change the major flaw in it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I hope so. I think there's a possibility that we might play it on the channel. If you're listening to this and you would like to see us do that, go ahead and comment and tell us for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a game we're thinking about playing because it's got a good storyline to it and stuff. So we might play it. We might. But they got us on the. They got us thinking before recording, like, what games we would like to see remastered that hasn't happened yet.
Right. And there's a lot of games that they've not touched that deserve a remaster. Namely, one that I think they could probably do well if they redid it is Conflict Desert Storm. Honestly,
yeah. I mean,
if they re-up that game, man, you don't even know.
I mean, I know it's because we're playing through it right now, but that's on our mind. But I mean, really, that is a good game. If they took the time to fix the flaws that are in it, I think it'd be great. I think people would love it. I mean, they could even make a style, like a gaming style, like they just did with this Ghost Recon game we were just talking about. Like, even if they had something like that, like working like a cooperative online game,
right?
I think it would be great. I mean, even anything like that. You know what I mean? Any of those conflict games, army games, they're all pretty good. But I think they would definitely do it. But I don't think Gotham Games is a thing anymore, right?
No, it's not a thing anymore. I think it's been purged.
Yeah, so, I mean, whoever has the rights to it would have to do it, and it'd be a lot of stuff to go through, but it'd be cool to see it remastered. And when I saw that Voodoo Vince got remastered, it reminded me of another Xbox platformer that was like really comedy based and pretty funny game that I always liked. I had to rent it to play it back in the day, but so I never owned it sadly. But it's called Stubbs the Zombie, and it's called Stubbs the Zombie, and there's like a quest line title after Stubbs the Zombie like name.
Right.
I can't remember what it's actually fully called yet. I'd have to look it up. But as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my god, maybe they're doing games from that time period. So I went and looked and see if it was remastered. Wasn't
Remastered.
but I would love to see that. I would love to see it. Another one I was thinking about is there's like this game. It's called like the Tasmanian Tiger, and you threw boomerangs and you had dual boomerangs in your hand, and you throw them in like you were in Australia wildlife. It was like a really cartoony vibe game.
Yeah,
it was like a platformer adventure type game. It was really cool, and I actually I think I saw somebody saying that they were going to remaster it, but they didn't think it was going to be that make that much money, and then somebody bought the rights and was remastering.
Is it Ty?
I think it is Ty.
Ty the Tiger, Tasmanian Tiger.
And I think they're putting it on a new one. They're either making a new one or they're remastering it and putting it on a computer now.
Right.
But I'd love to see it on console because I mean that was a really good game.
I mean, I think I'd like to see go back and what if they remastered the first Splinter Cell game? The second Splinter Cell game. With updated graphics and. They don't even have to really improve on the gameplay or the controls because it was good, but I'd just like to see it, with better resolution so you can actually tell. The problem with the Splinter Cell games is they're mainly done in the dark.
Yeah. So
it's hard to tell where you are, in those games, but they're freaking good, and I would like to see a remaster of the first one definitely, because that was one of those games that I spent a lot of time with. Never beat it because it was really hard. But spent a lot of time with that, and I'm talking like different games. Like what if they made a new Daytona game? Daytona USA. Yeah. It's on the Dreamcast. It's on the Sega Saturn too. If they brought an updated version of that, different. I mean, an arcade racer kind of like that is kind of dead at this point. But
yeah, but I think people would be into it if they was okay. Here's one I think arcade racer. I think people would be into it if they remastered. Cruising around the world.
Cruising the world on N64. That's a good one.
Yeah, if they remastered that and put it on console.
Don't they have that on that arcade as well? I think it was an arcade game too. Maybe it was Cruising the USA. I'm not sure. It's one of the two. They might have both of them. Who knows? Yeah, but they brought it to the N64. Yeah.
Yeah, but if they remastered that and put it on a new age console, people would love that shit. Yeah. I'd get it. That was a good ass game.
Right. What I wonder is with that, would it bring back the racing wheel? Like, cause how they have the racing wheels for like those simulators now.
Yeah.
Do you think that would ever be like a popular thing anymore? Like people like actually, because on the PlayStation, everybody owned the racing wheel and the foot pedals.
Do you think surely they still make it for racing games now?
Oh yeah, they have them. I forget what it's called, like the Force Master, or the Wheel Master, or something at GameStop for the PlayStation 4, right there beside the counter.
Like what do they use it for? Like Forza?
Yeah, probably Forza and GT, Gran Turismo, and what's the other one? What's the other racing game?
I don't know.
The Crew.
Oh yeah, the Crew was one.
Project Cars. What's the big one for PlayStation?
I don't know, man.
I don't remember. I don't remember. It's one of the. Man, I don't remember. I don't play PlayStation.
Yeah, me either. I don't play PlayStation either.
But there's tons of games that need remastered. Gauntlet Legends would be one I want remastered. That's awesome. Champions of the North.
Champions of the North, yes.
Why wasn't that one remastered? I don't know.
That game is so good. If you guys have never played that game, I think we're gonna play it on the channel when we get a copy of it. Apparently everybody else liked it too because every copy you can find online is like at least $40.
Yeah.
But we're going to find a way to get it, and when we do, we're going to play it on the channel, but you guys will see then. But if you guys haven't played that game or anything, you should look it up. A funny story about Champions of the North, I didn't tell you this yet. My boss randomly walked up to me and was like, "You ever played Champions of the North?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, yes, what the hell?" And it was like a week after we looked it up and talked about playing on the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was amazed that was just randomly. He just randomly was like, "You ever played Champions of the North?" And we sat there and talked about it, and I told him how we were wanting to play on the channel, and he was like, "Well, let me go see if I still got my copy out of my mom's house."
Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, that game was so good. That would be a great remaster.
Yeah, I'm talking like Nintendo, if you're listening to this podcast by some odd chance, if you wouldn't mind to get the guys together to remaster Geist, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I like Geist a lot on the GameCube. That was a great freaking game. I'm just looking over here to see what else. I mean, we're talking any of the Tales games. You ever play Tales of Symphonia?
I've played them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. There's so many remastered games out there that need to come. They're focusing on some stuff that I don't even know though. Like I bought a game on the Wii U last year called The Legend of K Anniversary, which is it's like a 15-year-old PS2 game that they remastered and put out on the Wii U. I think it's only on the Wii U if I'm not mistaken, but it's a game that like nobody was asking for. But they're just like, all right, let's go ahead and pick a game out of the old list here, and then we'll remaster it. But they brought it out, and I mean, I played it, and it's fine. It's not anything to be. I don't think it's anything that really deserved a remaster at that point. But it's cool because you see a lot of games that you grew up with that you really like that are getting remasters, but at the same time, you have to be careful with the remasters because it's a way that game developers and publishers get lazy because they're just like, oh, look, we came up with Assassin's Creed 4 last year on the 2 years later we're going to remaster it. Remastered. They did that a lot whenever the Xbox One came out. They were like, everything's Redux everywhere, like Redux, this game, Metro Redux, which that actually improved, but there's a lot of games that the changes aren't big enough to be called a remaster.
Yeah, and they did it because they know people will buy it.
Yeah,
I mean, but at the same time, they really don't want to they don't want to flood it with doing too many of those because they want people to focus on their new games.
But see, I'd like to see a lot more people grab a hold of games like I don't remember the publisher's name or the developer's name at this point, but the people that got a hold of DuckTales and remastered DuckTales, take games from the NES, from the Super Nintendo, games that were pretty limited by their hardware then, but then they take the game and they make it a completely different thing. They completely upgrade it. Like DuckTales Remastered, it takes a lot of the same things from the original game, but it improves on everything and makes it beautiful, and it changes the dynamic of the game. And I think there's a market for people to grab a hold of games that are that old and bring them into the 21st century.
Yeah, I think there definitely is, and hopefully we'll see more of that. I think once people realize that it's definitely doable and profitable, they'll definitely do it. And I'm sure we'll see lots of remasters in the future. It was just like we were just thinking about, man, what games do we wish were remastered right now so we could play them? You know what I mean?
It'd be the list is endless basically. So,
so what have you been watching this week? Anything good at all?
I started watching. Actually, I got really mad. Here's a little mini, just a tiny little mini Hulu rant. All right. I went on to because I finished Gotham season 2 on Netflix. And I was like, okay, I'll just wait for season 3 to come out on Netflix. I can wait a couple months. So I go on Hulu just on a whim. And I go on Hulu and Gotham is on there. All right. But we only have like season 5, or we only have episode 5 of season 3 through like episode 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, they do that shit.
Like, why do you have the back end of the season, but not the front end of the season?
Yep.
Like, why would you do that? Like, what are you gaining from doing that?
Yeah, I don't know why the fuck they do. I hate them for that. They do that a lot on shows that are still going on. They do that a lot, and it gets really fucking annoying.
Because I don't want to watch. I want to watch the season from the beginning, not from the middle. So now basically it's like a cock tease. It's like I can almost watch the new season, but not really because I'm missing 5 episodes.
Yeah,
you know.
You just need to go online and watch them illegally.
Yeah, but then the quality's gonna be garbage.
No. Most TV shows are they rip them straight from the cable. I'll tell you. I don't want to announce the website.
Then it's illegal, dude. I don't
want
to the law.
I don't want to announce the website over the podcast, but I'll tell you later what website's good to go without getting AIDS on your computer. But I haven't really been watching a whole lot, to be honest. School, I've been pretty much just working and doing school stuff, and of course, our YouTube stuff. But school's been keeping me pretty busy. One thing that is cool that I found on Netflix now is the Ghostbusters original cartoon.
I actually almost started watching that 2 days ago, but did this weird thing where it said that like your Netflix account's in use on too many devices
Yeah.
or whatever, so I couldn't watch Netflix that night.
You should, because seriously, it's pretty cool. I mean, I know it's like, oh, it's a cartoon or whatever, but I mean, I remember watching those when I was a kid. You know what I mean? So
Right.
to sit there and watch them, and they got the original voices and everything from, because that cartoon started in like the late '80s. So I mean, it's got all kinds of like 7, 8 seasons on there.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's pretty fucking cool, man. So I've been watching that. Usually I turn it on when I'm going to bed and I'll fall asleep while it's on or whatever. But I've been watching it off and on. But really, that's pretty much all I've been watching. I need to catch up with Hap and Leonard, that show I keep talking about. I need to catch up on it. I haven't watched the new, but I'm probably 2 episodes behind now. So I got to watch that. But I really haven't been watching anything.
Yeah, I recently, day before yesterday, I started when I couldn't watch Netflix. I put Hulu back on because I started rewatching Sleepy Hollow. That's one of my favorite show, right behind Gotham. I think it'd probably go Gotham and then Sleepy Hollow. They're really close for my favorite TV shows. But season 3 is out on Netflix or on Hulu. It's still on TV, I think. I don't think it's finished up quite yet. Finishes up in this month, I know. But I started watching from season 1 because I wanted Ember to watch it, and I started at season 1, episode 1, and now I'm about halfway through the first season. It's just one of those shows that gets you addicted. But I've been wanting to watch the 3rd season pretty badly, but I didn't want to just jump in, and watch it, because mainly when I watch TV, she's over here. I want her to watch something where she doesn't know what the hell's going on.
Right.
So I just decided like it's nothing for me to watch it over again because it's so good that I don't even care. I'll watch it 5 times over. But I want to get into that 3rd season so bad. But I wanted to rewatch it to kind of get a refresher, because you kind of forget what happens. Like there's some things like I'm watching in these episodes where I'm like, oh man, I forgot that even happened. Like I forgot they did that. And I found that a lot with TV shows, especially when you go back and rewatch. But yeah, that's awesome stuff. I'm looking forward to, I think in July, I want to say in July, The Strain comes back on FX, so we'll start getting more episodes of that on Hulu. That's a show that I freaking love to death as well. I did watch a movie last night, and I'm talking like 3 a.m. So I was just looking for something to try and go to sleep to, and just something to kind of hear in the background. So I put on London Has Fallen, and it's a movie with Gerard Butler as the main character. Now they did a first one, and I don't remember what it was called. I don't know if it's called White House Has Fallen,
Yeah, something like that.
or Washington D.C. Has Fallen, or something like that. I'm
Something
not
like
sure.
that.
But I watched the first one. I thought it was really good, and it was on Netflix way back. I watched it, and it was awesome. So I put London Has Fallen on just because I had already watched the first one. So I knew the first one was good, so I didn't know about the second one. I put it on. Usually the second one's not good. But then it's like, almost 5 a.m, and I'm laying here watching this movie, realizing that it's probably one of the best action movies that I've seen in a long time.
Nice.
It's one of those movies where you're like just putting it on to kill time, but then you find yourself at the end of the movie, you're like, holy crap. I couldn't go to sleep because I was too engulfed in the movie. Because they always have, in that movie, it has awesome action scenes. So in the movie, to tell you the plot, I'm not going to spoil the whole thing. I'll just tell you the plot. Basically, there's a death in the government of London, and like there's all these like 40 different world leaders that are going to this funeral of this person that died. And one happens to be the president of the United States, and Gerard Butler is his head of security. So he goes with him. And when they get there, there's a terrorist group that's aiming to kill all of the leaders. So I'm telling you, like there's explosions everywhere. They're blowing up landmarks, like big Catholic churches. They're blowing them up. They blow up Big Ben, the clock tower, and everything. But it's awesome. It's awesome. If you're into action scenes and a lot, like Gerard Butler's one of those guys, like he's kind of like an everyman actor. Like he can do anything. He could be in a sappy love story, but then he could do an action movie where he's like taking a knife and drilling it into somebody's side to get him to talk.
You got a man crush on him, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I really do. But I don't know, man. It was just a good movie, and it's on Netflix, so you can watch it if you got Netflix. Give it a watch, man. It's really good. And I would recommend it to you guys to check it out, especially if you're kind of in that lull where you don't know what you're going to watch. Just check it out. I mean, it's got Morgan Freeman in it, so
It's always good.
Morgan Freeman's the immortal one himself. And he plays the vice president, so he's kind of like he's got like a co-starring role, so he's a pretty big part in it too. And it's not often that you see, a big name actor like that go in for the sequel,
Yeah.
of a movie, like a part two. Like I wouldn't have been surprised had Morgan Freeman not signed on for the second one, or Gerard Butler not signed on for the second one. I've only seen it a couple times where they actually do, like Transformers with Shia LaBeouf. He signed on for the second one. Third one, I do think. I mean, that might have been Mark Wahlberg. I don't know, but you don't see that happen very often. That's why when we're talking like the Marine, you didn't see John Cena in the second Marine.
Yeah.
No, heck no, you didn't, because most of them make the money off the big one, and then you don't see it again. Like 12 rounds. So John Cena again, he went on for 12 rounds too.
Hey, by the way, if you guys haven't seen those two movies, you seriously should. I mean, I know people were like, "Oh, it's John Cena as a wrestler," but those are two really good fucking movies.
Yeah, really good movies. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, if you're into something, if you don't know what you're going to watch, just pop that bad boy on, and you won't be disappointed. I guarantee it.
So, music-wise, this week there hasn't really been that much to talk about, but we got one kind of funny random piece of news, and then one really big important news.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll do the funny one first. The funny random one is Bill Murray is apparently a classical musician now.
Yeah, I had no idea.
He's putting out a classical music album, and he's also going on a tour with a famous classical music band, which is pretty fucking crazy. I mean, who knows? I guess who knew that he was a talented musician? But he's the man, so I guess he can do what the fuck he wants.
I mean, we don't know if he's talented or not. We've not listened to it. I've not listened to it.
Yeah. I guess maybe he just got a bunch of yes men around him.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you're so good, dude. You're great.
Yeah. You do an album. Do a
fantastic. You should do a whole tour.
Hell, do two cellos at one time.
Yeah, I think it's crazy though. Like we're talking about a guy that acts mainly in comedic roles, very sarcastic, dry humor.
Yeah.
He's like a classical musician. Like, what the heck?
It'd be funny to see. I mean, I'll listen to it. I'll watch.
I'll give it a YouTube and see him play it. See if it's any good. I mean, I'm not much for classical music. There's some things that are fine, but
I don't dislike it.
Yeah, it's just so random. Like, it's one of those things. Like when you told me that in the restaurant, I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, it's
what
fucking
are you
nuts.
talking about?
Fucking nuts. But the big important good news.
Important news.
Kendrick Lamar released his new album, Damn, and if you guys haven't listened to it, you seriously need to. It's a freaking masterpiece. I mean, he always drops good albums, but this one is ridiculous.
This is it's gotten him dubbed the greatest rapper of all time.
Already. Like it just came. I guess like the day after it came out, they were already saying that.
Yeah.
And it is really good. There's not a song I dislike in there, and it's kind of cool because he did. Not many artists can do this, but he tells a story throughout the album. But then if you listen to the songs separately, you can't tell it's part of a story. You know what I mean? You don't feel like you're missing anything. It's just a good song.
Right.
But if you listen to them in order, you can tell it's telling a story.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of rumors that he was going to drop a whole nother album on Easter, a surprise album, because he dies at the end of Damn. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But he dies at the end of Damn on the last song, and there was a rumor saying that he was going to put out another one 3 days later and be risen like Jesus.
How crazy would that be?
Yeah. Which it would have been fucking nuts. But I mean, this album he's got right now is still fucking nuts. So, music wise, that's really it. There really hasn't been that much more happening that's worthy talking about, really. But definitely check out Bill Murray. Check out his music.
Check out Bill Murray.
And definitely check out the damn Kendrick Lamar album because it's so good. You guys will be blown away. I promise. If you like rap music,
I've not had my chance to go through the whole thing. But I've listened to a few tracks of it, and it's pretty good. I gotta tell you,
he's so good. His flow is always good. His verses are always fantastic. I've never heard a bad Kendrick Lamar verse, even one of his earlier stuff. So definitely check it out.
It's weird. He's one that doesn't. He's kind of a rapper that flies under the radar, of popular like media.
I think people just take him for granted. Like, yeah, that's Kendrick Lamar. He's good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's one reason why he's getting like he dropped that Control verse with Big Sean.
Yeah.
When he dropped that verse on that feature, everybody went nuts because he was pretty much calling everybody out. And I feel like that's what he has to do to get noticed. But I think this album's finally getting the praise that it deserves.
Right, yeah, because he's a really good rapper. I was saying I kind of equate him to the same thing as not on the same rapping level, but Tyga.
Yeah.
I really like Tyga, and he's doing some big things still. Even all these years later, but he's kind of on the same thing. You don't hear much about him.
I think he does. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's mainly because he kind of associated himself with like just having a good time rap instead of, but he actually can rap. There's quite a few good Tyga songs out there, but I think he mainly does stuff behind the scenes, like he produces a lot.
Yeah,
So I think that's why you don't hear a lot about him. But yeah, there's a lot of good artists out there that you really don't hear a lot in the mainstream, and it's really shitty. Like for example, yeah, like Tyga. I mean, definitely look at Kendrick Lamar because until like he drops an album out, everybody talks about it for a while, and then it's like, yeah, of course he's good, yeah.
Yeah.
But he just sits there, nobody really talks about him.
yeah,
But he deserves to be talked about a lot, and this new album is crazy.
yeah. It's definitely one to give a listen to. We need to check that bad boy out if you haven't already. A lot of stuff you can find on YouTube too. So
Yeah, a lot of it you can find on there. I think he's already got like 3 videos out for it, so
yeah.
you guys can even watch the video on
Yeah.
there. Really, what else we want to talk about? We'll talk about the channel.
Let's talk about the channel. Let's do some state of the channel address.
Channel chat.
Yeah, hashtag channel chat.
Hashtag channel cat.
Channel cat. Yeah, there you go. We're fishing now, boys and girls. But let's talk about. So we finished Big Mother Truckers.
We finished it. You guys won't see the end of it for a week or two, probably
It'll
two.
probably be 2 weeks.
But we finished it. Looking back on it, I'm really glad we played it. That was one of the first ones when we started this channel. So we were like, we definitely need to play Big Mother Truckers.
Yeah, and playing it. I mean, I had a ton of fun playing it, but at the same time, we did find. When you play it now versus playing it when we were kids, you kind of look at it in a different way. Like you find the pros and the cons of the game.
Yeah.
And there's some things that could have been changed, and there's some things that they did really well. Like I think overall the driving was awesome. Like
Yeah.
the driving mechanics were great. The economic thing, finding what's what supply and demand and what kind of medium you need to be in was awesome. I think they did that really well.
Yeah, they did a really good job, like, of teaching kids something in a game. And it's funny because that style of game where it's like a comedy based, like crazy ass game.
Yeah.
You really don't think you're learning something, but even back then you were learning as a child playing it.
Right.
You're learning something, you just don't understand it yet.
Yeah, I mean it's a deep game. As funny as that might sound, because you have to investigate to find what sells best where. You follow the the statistics to find out where you're going to make the most money for what. You're getting loans and figuring out how long it's going to take you to repay them based on how much money you're making.
Yeah, and it's funny too because you can go to the HQ, Big Mother Truckers HQ, and talk to Mama, and she gives you statistics. And she gives you this graph. We looked at it one time, and I mean, you got to have like, you look at it. Most
you
people
need to take
probably
statistics in
yeah,
college.
you probably
to
get
figure
scared
this out.
away. You probably need a business management degree to even fucking read the thing. But it's really cool that it goes in that depth. And I mean, it was a really fun game. I mean,
Yeah.
there's of course, it's an old game, so of course there was stuff that they could have improved on, and they might have. We've never played number 2, and we're gonna keep it. We're not gonna look at anything about number 2 until we play it later on in
Yeah.
the channel. It'll probably be a couple gameplays away because we don't want to stack them up against each other.
Now talking about some things that they probably should have figured out and fixed. The difficulty towards the end, the ramping up of the AI, basically.
Yeah.
Because it almost makes it freaking impossible to get from one place to the other without getting blown up. You got to be really careful, but at the same time, that could have been because we didn't upgrade our vehicle as much as we should have. So that could play a part too. But now I'm talking like some of the prompts, like whenever we bought that loan, paid it back instantly.
Yeah, that shouldn't
That
have
was
been a thing.
That was a little bit rough.
Because GameCube controllers, their buttons, you have a tendency to hit the button twice sometimes because it's so sensitive sometimes. So that, especially in the GameCube version, that should not have been a fucking option.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, the game being, what did it come on, 2003, being 14 years old is a 100% solid game.
Still fun.
Yeah, I would say it's a blast still. If you have it, give it a shot and play it because it's awesome. Yeah, that's the only one we finished. We're getting close on Desert Storm though. We're playing through it, and it's been a fun time too. We'll give you more on that when we finish it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we did finish the hardest mission in the game,
Yeah.
which should be the next episode coming up, right?
Yes. It should be.
and
You'll see that in the next episode. Yes.
But yeah, we're getting close on that one.
Yeah, but it's we're still enjoying it, of course, like
Yeah.
always. Finishing up, it feels good to finish it through a game.
Yeah, to knock yourself through the way through it and get it done.
Yeah, so we almost finished 2 more series, so that's awesome. So that would be what, 3 games we finished? No, actually, if you count the Metal Slugs, it's 5, right?
Yeah,
After we finish these 2,
yeah. Should
we
be.
played 2 Metal Slugs, Starsky and Hutch, and then these 2 games.
Yeah, so that'll be 5 altogether
5,
done.
yeah, that'd be 5. So
Zelda's never going to be finished. I've just decided we're going to play that forever.
yeah, we're just gonna
basically
we're gonna play it until we decide to stop playing it.
till the
But
day we die.
it's a great game and stuff. But
Yeah.
you guys know about Zelda. It's got way too much time to be put in.
But we've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up, a lot of good videos coming up, some really awesome stuff. I can say firsthand, I played through it myself, and I've watched a lot of footage back, and I can say that the stuff that we got coming up is leaps and bounds over I mean, we're improving every single video we put out.
Yeah, I think that's what we need to do is just improve. And as long as we're improving, as long as we're growing as a channel and a community, I think it's great. We're getting a lot better at doing this. We're getting a lot better at editing. We're getting better at time management. And we've had things, of course, you know how our luck goes. If you guys have listened to us talk about it in the past, we've had stuff fuck up on us.
A lot of stuff. It's like YouTube doesn't want us to be a thing sometimes. Like fate would have it, something always goes wrong. But I feel like that's something that other people have issues with all the time that we just don't really see. You don't see that kind of thing because you don't see the behind the scenes of somebody like Game Grumps or somebody, like JonTron or somebody that does something like that. You don't see the behind the scenes, but when you're doing it yourself, you actually experience the behind the scenes and you experience the setbacks and stuff. And you've got to expect that they're going through the same things that you are.
Yeah.
So that just comes with the I guess with the baggage.
We hit 60 subs this week.
Yeah, we hit 60 subscribers, which is awesome. We're getting close to that first 100, which is freaking epic.
Really exciting to get to that first 100. Let's see. We're planning on going to what is it we're going to next weekend?
Buy time and I'll find out.
Yeah, we're looking at. So anyway, what we're talking about here is we're going to start going to like cons around us, handing out some business cards, some pins. I think that's really the easiest way for around here for like a grassroots level that we can get to get people eyes on the channel. Besides that, we're sharing it, and you guys, of course, are sharing it. We appreciate you for that. But the first one we're going to go to is next weekend, and it's up in Columbus, Ohio, which is what, 3.5 hours away from us or so.
It's called YoiCon.
YoiCon. We're going to go to YoiCon. So if anybody's listening is going to be there, get a hold of us, and we'll tell you when we're going to be there. We'll probably just we have other commitments that weekend, but we're going to at least go one day, right?
Yeah, we're going on Saturday, definitely. 100% going on Saturday.
So we're going on Saturday,
which will be the 29th.
And if something happens, we have a real good time, and we can move our other commitments around. We might be able to get there another day, but Saturday for sure we'll be there.
We might. I mean, we might come back Sunday. Who knows?
Just
as long as we split the driving.
Yeah, it just depends. But yeah, so we're excited for that. We're excited to start going and stuff as that. It feels. We also started kind of going publicly with our channel for like people around us, like people that know us, like locally.
Yeah.
Which feels good actually.
Right.
I thought it was going to be because it took us a long time to go public with our music.
Right.
And I was kind of scared because we had kind of a weird experience where people, because we live in West Virginia, if you guys don't know. I don't think we've ever really completely said that, but people don't like rap music around here. So we kind of felt like, awesome. Well, they're not going to understand this stuff either.
Yeah.
But we've had a good number of people be like, yeah, that's awesome. So
yeah.
It feels good to do it. It feels good to say like, yeah, we're YouTubers.
We're rocking it.
We're still really small, but we're growing, and yeah, we're doing it. We're doing the damn thing.
We're constantly moving forward, and I think getting ourselves out there, man, meeting people at conventions and stuff is going to be so awesome. We're going to have pins and stuff to give out at bigger conventions and stuff. Hopefully, we can get some for next week. I want to try and get something to give people.
We're gonna get something together. We don't know what it's going to be, but for the other ones in the future, so that we'll have more time to come up with something. We're planning on having pins, right?
Yeah.
With our logo on it, and maybe like, and we're thinking we're gonna do pins, and then maybe put on a business card with our YouTube link and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best plan of attack.
That way, you guys get a little bit of merch, and at the same time, you can spread the word.
Yeah. So we're we're constantly thinking of ideas like that. If you guys have any ideas that might help us, let us know. Any ways to get eyes on our channel. But we have been growing, and our views hasn't really dipped at all since we started.
Which is awesome.
Which means, like we said before, we might be low in subscriber numbers, but our percentage of our subscribers that watch is crazy high in comparison.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for that. Thank you guys for always sharing. Thank you for listening to this podcast.
Yeah, man. That's all we got for you guys this week. Hey, if you enjoy the podcast, if you enjoy Juicebox Heroes videos in general, don't forget to share this with your friends, please.
Please.
Word of mouth. That's the biggest thing for us. And also, don't forget to like. Check us out on SoundCloud. I'll put the podcast up on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/juiceboxheroes. You can check it out there. There is one on there so far. I'm going to backlog and put the rest of them on there. That way you guys can check them all out in audio format.
Oh, and by the way, sorry for last week's podcast.
Yeah,
for you guys that I figure we put it here at the end because this is probably the people that actually listen to the podcast at the end. So thank you for not commenting and making us feel like bigger pieces of shit than we already felt like we were.
Yeah,
we recorded that big ass podcast like an hour and something, and we had it set to the wrong microphone because we're a bunch of dumbasses.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was completely great quality, right?
But you can still hear what we were saying. It wasn't the quality you guys expect from us, and that's shitty. But we figured it would be better to put that out than try to fake a whole nother recording of it.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, you could still hear us. It was just like it sounded like we were far away.
It's like in a bathroom.
But I mean, it was okay. All overall, it wasn't the quality that we're used to. It's not the quality you guys are used to, and it's something that it's kind of inevitable that things are going to happen like this. But we're double checking ourselves before we do stuff now to make sure that everything's working because we want to make sure that you guys get the best quality stuff possible. But hey, for the Fresh Squeez'D Podcast for April 21st, I'm Cody.
And I'm Parker.
And we're the Juicebox Heroes, and we're going to catch you motherfuckers in the next podcast.
What's your mother?
Bitches.
Cause we're the Juicebox Heroes with straws in our eyes.
Wait, what?
Juicebox Heroes.